Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crypto News. We're going to be talking about the Randall Keith Beane case that is currently going on and how Heather Ann Tucci ties in to his current case. But before we get started, I want everybody, if you can, please send him a postcard. Let him know that you care about him and send him some love and your best wishes. Now, continuing on here, let's get a good insight on exactly what's going on with the Randall Keith Beane case and Heather Ann Tucci.
Hello, good morning from Asheville, North Carolina. I wanted to make a video, and it's been on my mind for just a little while regarding the Randall Beane and Heather Ann Tucci Giraffe saga. I was involved at the very beginning, from the first week in July till now. Just want to shed a little bit of light that Heather's in Washington, D.C. because of Randy's incarceration. And, there's a whole lot of beautiful things being said and done, and beautiful beings doing and being for Heather. And, I get that, I understand that, but I wanted to just kind of pinpoint or elaborate a little, if you will, about Randy and his doings and how it ended, how he landed in jail, for what he did. He was so fast and spot on with using the TDA accounts. And Heather was with him from the beginning as well. But she was in Texas, he was in Tennessee, and that first week of July, July, he, somewhere around the 4th, he was so excited, and shout out to Harvey Dent for posting that video that has created this huge ripple. It's reminiscent from 2012-13 when One People's Public Trust was created by Heather and several others, filed documents with the, UCC documents that foreclosed the corporations back then, and a lot of movement happened at that time. But now it's like a repeat or addition to 2013 with the actions and people, what they're doing right now. And Harvey's video was a catalyst for what Randy Beane has done. And I just want to address it a little bit because the focus, not everyone, but the main focus is on Heather being in jail in Washington, D.C., but there's not a whole lot of history saying why she's in fact in Washington, D.C. And I just kind of sort of, on Randy's behalf, and those of us that were right there in the middle of it with him, and still in touch with him, wondering how to help him the most. I feel like just kind of shedding a little bit of light, opening up a discussion, and putting out, my story of the experience firsthand, being right there with Randy, when this was happening, and just a little bit about, details that I have from being right there. And so this all started with Harvey Dent's video the first week in July, somewhere around the 4th of July. That's when Randy saw it. It could have been posted before that. But what happened is Randy saw the video, with the Social Security card, and, connect to your accounts, and you can, do this and do that. He jumped on it. He really literally jumped on it and was so fast and so successful with that information that now he's in jail. He did nothing wrong. I mean, it was his Social Security number that allowed him to have access to these funds that were accepted at USAA Bank, and he bought CDs and I was with him on the phone as he was buying multiple CDs. Said, there's another one. I just did another one. What happened and allowed him to buy the cash out some CDs, one or two of them, which they were large CDs. They were, pretty, almost $1 million each. Cashing one or two out and putting those in his account and using them immediately with wire transfers to purchase things. And the main thing and the reason that they apprehended him or kidnapped him, beat him, injured him, and took him away without a warrant is because he accessed huge amounts and successfully wire transferred funds to an RV dealership, and also at Heather's direction was able to get the MSO or the MCO, the manufacturer's certificate of origin, which shows he has that or had that. It's still with his belongings, but he doesn't have it with him in jail. So I just kind of want to do a recap of the last month, and it's still ongoing. But that first week of July was phenomenal. The energetics, the excitement, it was crazy. It was fun, but at the expense of now him being, the immediate contrast happened just, pretty immediately, the balance of that. So in a nutshell, he was excited and doing this, doing all this that first week in July. And my intention, my plan, our plan, before the TDA, before the video came out, or before he watched Harvey's video and then shared it with me, my plan was my vacation, my weekday vacation was the 10th and 14th of July, my paid time off. And I was going to Tennessee, and he said, well, you guys please come to my apartment here in Knoxville, and we'll hang out over the weekend. And then you guys just cancel your reservations, and since we've got all this in our disposal here, we're going to just have a great time. We're going to take the RV. We'll all stay in that, or we'll do whatever. We're just going to have a great time. So cancel your reservations. Don't worry about, bringing a lot of money or whatever. We're just going to do this. We're going to have fun, because we had already planned to do it, and this was how we were going to, do it. After his successes. So, we went to Tennessee. My grandson, 6-year-old grandson, and my youngest son, and I went to Tennessee to stay with Randy for the weekend, and then we were going to all go. So we arrived on Friday. Randy had many successes that week before we arrived on Friday, and when we arrived on Friday, it was super fun, super cool, just energetics, positive energy that was just felt, and, really felt without fear. We've accessed what's truly ours. We're the value, but what's been happening for centuries, and that's a whole nother set of videos that explains all the straw man account and all this other stuff that has harvested our harvested our value, and traded on our value. And that's why the birth certificate is issued with the number, and it's linked, and it's just, that's a whole other video, a whole other set of looking into and doing your own research, because it's factual, it's not conspiracy, it's just real, and it's hidden in front, in plain sight. So we went to Tennessee, and the day we arrived is the Friday the 7th, and all this had been done with, Randy had purchased the CDs, he had wire transferred for the RV, he had purchased a brand new 2017 Ford pickup truck, and all this stuff had been happening, and he had been talking with Heather that week as well. And we arrived and went to see the RV. That was a lot of fun. It's huge. It's, you know, we didn't take it anywhere, but eventually we did. We took it to fill it up because of the trip he was planning to take to Texas upon Heather's instruction. So we were riding around after seeing that, looking for a place for dinner, and he got a message via text or email while we were driving around looking for a place to have dinner. And it was saying something about his account, his checking account needed some kind of signature card on it. I'm not sure exactly, and he wasn't sure. So he called the bank, and he was on the phone with the bank for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. And, you know, we were riding around while he was holding the phone and driving, and you know, it was just like trying to figure this shit out. And my goodness, they didn't help him. They didn't tell him. They just said he needed to have that. And he said, well, I'm clicking on the link. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to print it, and it won't let me. So that really didn't get any resolution while that phone conversation was happening. So we proceeded to have dinner. His account was locked. At that time, the CDs were still showing, and the credit card worked. And but you know, it was a different, it was kind of a little jab to the flow that was going on, and not fearful, just concern. And we had a really nice dinner, really fun dinner, and you know, didn't talk about it a whole lot, about what this could mean or the ramifications of it or anything. So we went back to the apartment and, you know, set up and talked about a lot of things for the, you know, wee hours of the morning. And oh, you know, it was concerning him, of course, because he couldn't access his account, and that was what we were you know, we were going to use to go to Tennessee, to Pigeon Forge in the RV, and this and that and the other. So as the time progressed, you know, Saturday and Sunday, he received notice that his he had purchased, I think it was 27 or 29 CDs, separate CDs, 12 of which were blocked, and 10 or more were still available at that time. Anyway, you know, it was just a sequential thing that the bank and the whoever was trying to stop. And eventually his credit cards were shut down, and all this stuff was happening. So here we were with Randy. He wasn't alone, and he was grateful that he wasn't alone while this was happening. But you know, we didn't really understand what he could do, if anything. So, you know, his conversations with Heather, you know, we had lots of them, and he would, you know, have them on speakerphone, and we were just hearing the things. And, you know, her excitement was understood. You know, she's like, this is what we need to happen, you know, on a large scale, because Randy really did go big, and he went fast, and it was successful because it was so fast, and the way he went about it allowed the transfers to be, you know, not reversed before the actual transactions were cleared. You know, he purchased the RV with a wire transfer, and he paid off vehicles, and while we were there visiting, he he received the titles for those vehicles. You know, things like that were solid. You know, if these TDAs were not real, then why did this go through, and why did it successfully transpire? That's the bottom line. It's his social security number. He did nothing wrong. Everyone else can do the same thing. However, you know, it's up to the individual how they want to handle and what they want to attempt. Many of us, myself included, have, you know, used the routing numbers and the social number as the account number that goes through, and then days later it's reversed. And some of us that have done this have experienced the reversal being reversed. I can't explain it. I don't know. Some people are saying that August the 1st was the date that this was supposed to actually be allowed. I don't know anything about that, but I did run across somebody, a video or a post somewhere, that was saying that's what happened, is we all did it too fast. So maybe that's why the reversal was reversed after August 1st. I don't know, but it happened, and there's still the universal routing number. I mean, it's still the ripple effect, okay? And Randy's paying the price for us all because of what he did and went so big. And then Heather is in Washington, D.C. in jail because she came to Knoxville and then to D.C. because of Randy's incarceration. You know, there's some details, you know, of the court date and people being asked to come from, you know, Asheboro, someone that really helps Randy a whole lot and hasn't, you know, most of their adult life been best friends. She was asked to come to Tennessee on a, let's see, Sunday the 16th to be able to help Alex and Val, who had come from Florida to visit Randy and assist in the getting the coach to Heather, driving the coach to see Heather and take care of the banking issues, because USAA Bank, main branch, main headquarters, whatever, is in San Antonio. And so they were going to go get Heather and go to San Antonio and get this straightened out with her documents. So when everything turned about and everything was cut off for Randy, and then you know, the day I was with Randy, the 10th of July, I was with Randy at the RV dealership, on the phone with Heather via, you know, conference call, talking to the dealership because they had notified Randy that someone is trying to reclaim the money, or say that he wants the money returned, and he over the phone said, no, I'm not. I assure you that I'm not. The RV is mine and I want it, and that's your cash, that's your money. So due to the amount of the money, you know, it's got them a little concerned. So we drove to the RV dealership, sat there in the office with the manager, the sales manager, the general manager, Heather on the phone, tried to reach someone at USAA, got some bogus name, and it's just surreal, really. And then the RV dealership's bank was Whitney Bank. So that day, the 10th, that conversation with Heather via conference call on the phone, and her, you know, I actually recorded a majority of that meeting audio and shared it with Heather, and I think it's been posted somewhere, of that conversation where she's assuring them that, you know, nothing was done, that there's something on the back end. The originating bank is just trying to recoup the money, and she's going to look into it, that she's his attorney. And, you know, it was pretty benign. It was just a meeting, a conversation that was Monday the 10th. On Tuesday the 11th, you know, we all went to breakfast. Alex and Val had arrived on Monday evening. Monday evening. Anyway, we all were there, and we decided to go to breakfast on Tuesday morning, the 11th. So Randy, Alex, and Val rode in Randy's older truck because that's what he was going to, he was going to go to the dealership in his old truck. And Alex and Val were going to drive the truck back to the apartment, and Randy was going to drive the RV back and park it in a big old parking lot so they could load up their stuff to head to Texas. So we had breakfast, and as we finished, they were getting ready. They got in the truck to leave, and myself and my boys, my youngest son and my grandson, we went back to Randy's apartment and decided to go swimming at the pool there in the complex, and they were off to do that, bring the RV back and all that good stuff. So that's when I got a text message from Val and said, can you please send Heather's number? She didn't have it at the time, obviously, so I said okay, and I sent it. And 10 minutes later, 5 or 10 minutes later, she said, "Can you send it again? It didn't come through." I sent it again and it went through. And she said, "Thank you." You know, I didn't have any idea why, you know, she needed to get it from me and not Randy. That didn't connect at that time. So I just went on swimming with playing with the grandson and, you know, having a good time and just looking forward to the things to come, you know. And maybe an hour and a half later, I get a phone call, and it's Valerie saying, "Randy's been abducted. Randy's been taken. He's been arrested. He's been beaten severely, and he's been taken. And can you come get us? We are at the motel that's right beside the RV dealership." I said, "Yeah, it'll take me a few minutes, or, you know, take a little while, but I will come and get you." So we piled in the car and we went to the that area. I knew exactly where to go and picked them up at the motel. Left Randy's truck there because they weren't comfortable driving it back, and so who knows where that truck is right now, because it's been there since the 11th and they have the keys. So needless to say, on the way back from that, we were all just stunned, you know, and they were traumatized and we were bewildered and like, what the hell just happened and why? So, you know, the explanation that was discussed on the way in the car with us was that Alex and Val and Randy were in the RV, and Randy was on the phone with Heather. I know this is discussed on a video with Alex and Val and Heather, and somewhere out there's a video, I'm sure. It's posted in multiple places, but they were saying that they were in the RV and they noticed some gentlemen, some people in suits and walking towards the RV, and before they reached the RV, another car pulled up in front of the RV to block it so that it couldn't move. And they were calling out Randall K, Randy Beane, and, you know, they were inside, and of course it's a little unusual, so yeah, I guess you could get kind of afraid of what was happening. And they were just calling out, "Randy, we need you to come outside." Well, evidently it wasn't Randy that let them in, but Alex opened the door to the RV, and was said that they pulled Randy out and threw him to the ground, took him down, and it went from there. And so the reason I say it that way is because, yes, I can't say that I wouldn't have opened the door myself, unknowing, you know, not knowing what might happen, but I can't, and Randy can't help but wonder what would have happened had the door not been opened. You know, that's just something that has been in his mind. You know, they didn't have a warrant. Had they not had access into his vehicle, what would they have done? You know, how would it have played out? Which, you know, is not going to change anything right now, but, you know, on the behalf of how it did play out, I can't say that I wouldn't have opened the door too. But we don't know. So that happened. We got back home. Of course, a lot of conversations with Heather, and you know, just trying to figure out what next. What do we do now? You know, this was totally unexpected, and it was Tuesday the 11th. The plan was to go to Texas after multiple conversations with Heather about the bank account being frozen and stuff. They were going to drive down there. Well, turns around that she's going to come to Knoxville because of his incarceration. And I'll try to keep this as brief, and it doesn't have to be so detail oriented that I ramble. But she came to Knoxville, God, I can't even remember what day. It must have been the 17th. It was somewhere around the 17th or 18th, because Randall, he was in court the 17th on Monday and the 18th on Tuesday. Heather was there, I believe, for the Tuesday. It's also fuzzy and blurry, furry. But I do know that Sunday the 16th, they requested that Trish, Randy's longtime friend, and she's his anchor and helped him so much, and she and I stay in touch and just keep Randy on the radar. We do our best to keep him on the radar because of all the focus on Heather. But she was asked to come to Tennessee, to Knoxville, to assist at the hearing on Monday the 16th, because Alex and Val were a team together and they needed some assistance to file some documents that Heather was going to be sending on Sunday. Okay, so she said, well, okay, I'm 6 hours away, but I'll do anything to help Randy. She left, got to Knoxville from Asheboro, North Carolina around midnight on Sunday the 16th. In the duration of time traveling, she was thinking that the documents were going to be sent to Alex and Val by Heather. Excuse me. I get a sip. And they weren't. So they waited and waited till about midnight. Excuse me. After Trish's arrival in Tennessee, you know, they talked and got caught up and met each other, and, you know, kept waiting for the documents to arrive, and they never did. So they went to sleep, tried to sleep, and when they woke up in the morning, Monday morning, still no documents. And these were documents that Heather was preparing to send for them to file on Randy's behalf. They never arrived. They went to the courthouse, and all they could do was be there for Randy as in body. And basically that was it. The exchange was they saw Randy, Randy saw them, and he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know. And so, you know, that Monday Randy was only in handcuffs, and that was discussed, not discussed, that was, you know, pretty normal, they thought. And then, you know, there were comments, supposedly, if I remember correctly, they were going to have to continue the next day, Tuesday the 17th, or no, 18th, for some reason. I really can't remember why. But anyway, while Trish was there, she was only there Monday in the court. And while she was there, I think they had Heather on the phone listening to what the proceedings or whatever. And, you know, she just had her phone down so that Heather could hear what was being said. And she told me personally that she was there, and she, you know, was scoping out what was going on and thinking to herself, you know, I get everything that's being done about, you know, sovereign, or, you know, real man and all this stuff, but what is happening right now, we probably need to speak to an attorney, and a Tennessee attorney. And so she said she scanned the room and figured out, you know, she just approached one and talked to him in detail, and they ended up retaining him, Mr. Wallace, for tomorrow, you know, for the next day, Tuesday the 18th, for Randy, to represent Randy. And just because they wanted some kind of counsel, you know, they didn't have Heather's documents. There they were, without being able to file anything before the hearing. And so that was kind of a glitch, or, you know, it happens the way it's supposed to, right? But my gosh, they were just there, and Trish drove all the way from Asheboro to just be there. And, you know, she was okay with that. She made it there safely and back home. But retained Mr. Wallace, and Heather briefed what Mr. Wallace I believe, Monday night, and then arrived in time to be in the courtroom on Tuesday, I think, pretty sure, and met with Forrest in person and talked to him, but still, you know, there were no documents filed on Randy's behalf, and there still, as far as I know, aren't any documents regarding the incarceration and all the documents that Heather has tried to present and file. Similar documents, however, the factualized trust has to be individual. So Randy had that, you know, in his belongings that are now in Trisha's. She has them. They were sent from Washington by Alex and Val to her at Randy's request. It's just been surreal, and I guess the intention of, I know the intention of this video is to open up the conversation and all the concern and care and appreciation of Heather's doings and being incarcerated in Washington. Please remember or realize or, you know, learn that it's because of what happened to Randy that she's in Washington to begin with and in jail. And you know, you've heard and probably seen the videos or the blogs where it explains that they were interrogated. Alex, Val, and Heather were interrogated at the White House gate, and you know, things like that are you know, interesting, but why she got someone, I forgot the name of the man that she got on the phone and handed it to the FBI or the whoever, Secret Service at the gate, and he walked away and talked to the guy, and he said he didn't know you, but that was not true apparently. And what he said was that yes, he did know her, and that he had said to her, don't go to Washington yet, it's not a good time to go, but she went anyway. Now, who knows for real? I mean, that's what was said by the people that were there. So, you know, of course, anytime truth is surfacing, there's going to be people trying to shut it down and squash it, and that's so apparent in everything about this. And the fact that it went through to begin with only his Randy's social security number and a specific routing number, you know, it shows that it's valid. It's not a crime. He didn't rob from anyone. He used his own account and got the shit beaten out of him and put in jail, and not before he roasted in a car for a couple of hours in the back seat of a car in 90-degree plus weather, and he's still in jail. That was the 11th of July, and today is August the 5th, and he's still in jail. And to date, he has not been given anything that might have been sent to him. I do understand that there are people sending him letters and, you know, support, energetically and, you know, physically, just to let him know they're thinking about him. I don't know how many. I do know there's some. But my intention also with this video is to put it out there that the location where he is currently, he was moved from Knox County Jail to Blount County, and but was supposed to be extradited and picked up by South Carolina by August 1st to South Carolina for a traffic violation, which is why they said they apprehended him to begin with. But everything happened without a warrant on the 11th, and then warrants were issued on the 12th and 13th. Two different ones, which both were bogus, and one was Jasper, Colorado, which Randy had never been to, which was actually supposedly dismissed in the court on the 18th. But why wasn't it expunged? Why was it only dismissed? I mean, it didn't exist. It was not real. So that's something that will come down the pike later, I'm sure, and that to do away with, not just dismiss. Anyway, Randy's location currently is Blount, B-L-O-U-N-T, County Adult Detention Center, 920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway, Maryville, Tennessee, 37804-5002. He can, it's been confirmed yesterday that he can only receive postcards, I guess because they don't have to open them, and they can read them. So if you have it in your heart to flood that detention center with postcards for Randy, and also it's been posted in Skype and a couple of other places that I am maintaining a fund for Randy through PayPal, and it's itslovesill@gmail.com, and it's for his expenses and attorney's fees, whatever's going to happen, whatever comes first, either his expenses for living or his expenses to get released. I don't know a lot of details about the federal appointed attorney. I don't know if he's accepted that or not. I really just don't know. And I do know that anything energetically sent to Randy's going to be a big plus for him. And I don't think he's aware of the how it went down yesterday with Heather. I'm possibly going to speak to him this evening, myself or Trish, or both of us, and we'll let him know that outcome, that she will eventually be extradited to Tennessee, but that she was denied her ability to represent herself. She still hasn't contracted with that jurisdiction and all that stuff. So, she's standing firm, and everything is much appreciated. This is a big ripple effect. It is big old, huge doing on his part. It's not money laundering. It's not criminal. It's nothing. And that the indictment that has been served or, presented, and as to why he didn't go to South Carolina, which was stupid in the beginning because it was a traffic violation that was supposedly taken care of back in 2015. It was just their grasp, the FBI, DOJ, all this stuff, fugitive from justice bullshit. They just had to find something, and that was the only thing outstanding, that they could see that he had a failure to appear because he thought it was taken care of, which was not a warrant, but they turned it into one a day after they beat the shit out of him. So it's bogus, and it's worthy of the focus, and not to let it slip away. Don't forget about it. Let's just keep the momentum going, as much for Randy as for Heather, please, because her doing and being is not just for Randy, but for everyone. But she's there right now in the situation because of Randy. So please, please, please keep Randy in the forefront, right here in your heart, along with Heather. And I'm not saying that people haven't been, but it's important because his huge presence in doing what he did is why this has been unleashed. And from what I've heard and listened to and read, that it's international. People are picking it up, and there is truth out there, and already there are things being shared and put out there that kind of diluted or misguided, or aren't actual facts. But being right there in the middle of it, and the excitement of his being and doing, and then the immediate contrast, by slamming him in the jail. slamming them to the ground and taking them to jail. It's just, I don't know. It's like proof of the corruption and the fraud and the underhandedness and the darkness. You know, it's like we have to be unafraid and continue to back everything positive for, you know, to get rid of this debt slavery system, which has been ongoing forever. You know, so many things that we can do right now to stop the attempts to hide this, because you know there are going to be people coming out saying, oh, it's illegal or it's fraud, and you know, somebody was arrested because from the Federal Reserve because they were giving out routing numbers. You have to know too that some of it's true and some of it is put out there to scare people away, because the powers that be or were or whatever you want to call them, that are the controllers, you know, behind the scenes, that, you know, have wealth beyond you know, but beyond our imagination, because they control the money. You know, we have access, we have unlimited amounts of funds in our name, whether it be, you know, monetary or what. It's our value that has been utilized and traded, because that's why in the you know, when birth certificates were implemented, those numbers are relative to the corruption and you know, trading on as cattle. It's like, you know, it's real. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's freaking real. You go there and you see it. And bottom line is that it was Randy's social security number that he used, and nothing else other than a routing number to add to that account to withdraw those funds that have been hidden and used by the corporate banks and the corporations of this world. And it's time to shed the light. So thank you for watching. You know, I don't do videos really. So pardon the rambling, and thank you so much for holding space for Randy and Heather. And you know, this too is going to pass, and we're going to be grateful that it turns out the way it does. I have a strong feeling. So you go with your feeling and just hold the space and keep doing, you know, keep utilizing your power, your accounts. Don't stop, because that's what they want. That's what they expect. So now we're just going to tell them we're not. And if they're incarcerating Randy and Heather for conspiracy to money launder and all that stuff, that's just bullshit, bogus stuff. And it wouldn't have worked if it wasn't valid. So thank you. And send Randy lots of love, and Heather too, and thank you. And I'll keep it transparent. You know, any donations made on his behalf, I'll keep it transparent, and it will go for his cause to get him released and housed, or, you know, to keep his home. So thank you so much.
All right, so as you guys all heard, what exactly is going on with Randall and Heather? It's very interesting. It's you know, it's a lot to really take in. You guys may have to watch that video twice, but I wanted to give Randall Keith Beane his current ID number, where he's located, and the address that you guys should be sending a postcard to. So his ID is 318366, Blount County Detention Center, 920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway, Maryville, Tennessee, 37804-5002. All right, you guys. And like it says, you know, you can't do stickers, no labels, no fragrances, perfumes, etc. They only are really allowing postcards, or I guess if you do just a photo and nothing else inside of an envelope. But as always, have a wonderful night. Take care, and bye-bye, you guys.